Hi, I'm Doug Jones. I'm realtor and broker at Buyers Realty in San Jose, California. Now, I'm also a lender, and actually, I was a lender 25 years before I ever got my real estate broker's license. And there's a big advantage to having been a lender. Now, most people associate the lender with just the credit application, and that's, of course, what we did, but there's much more involved in being a lender than that. I can remember one time as a matter of fact, I was at a bank and I got a loan from this building I now have my office in. And it was from a broker. It was a real estate purchase. And we get the application. And in those days, many banks did not do their own credit check. They just allowed on their credit report from the broker. Well, I worked at a bank where we did do our own credit checks. And I got this credit report and it was just absolutely beautiful credit. And then we ran our own credit, and lo and behold, there was charge-offs, bankruptcies, foreclosures, everything you can imagine. One of the worst credit reports I've ever seen. And in those days, we just get back to the broker and say, we're not going to do business with you. Today, that person have a good chance of going to jail. So, because it's illegal to make false statements on a mortgage loan application. So anyway, that's one thing that the lender does, and I did. But there's actually more. We also had to look at every purchase contract. So there's a buyer, there's a seller, there's a contract written by the buyer's agent to the sellers, and they write the contract, and that lender has to look at the contract and to approve that contract. Many times here at Mortgage Magic, over the past 25, 30 years, we've had to tell realtors, no, you can't write the contract this way, you've got to do this, you've got to make this move, you've got to change some things. So that's something that most of the people in the public are not aware of, that the lender also needs to approve that contract. The lender also looks at the preliminary title report. There's a preliminary title report is like a pink slip on a car. It's the ownership, who owns it, who can sell the property, what are the legal bounds of the property, a lot of information about the property, and that preliminary title report also has to be cleared by the lender. So that's something else that we looked at, and the realtors get this from the title company. And then last, the appraisal. The lender has to approve the appraisal as well. So, there were times too. I remember one time sitting in the office, had this many loans to give a final approval on. My assistant had underwritten the loans, marked an approval. I looked at loan one, and I remember it was a house in Sunnyvale, and now this was a long time ago, but I remember the price was $275,000. And I approved it, and I go down two more loans, and all of a sudden I come to the exact same street, a sale on the exact same street, like three houses down, the exact same model, and it was in no better condition than the first home. It was $100,000 more. $100,000 more. So that was obviously a phony appraisal. And so the lender is always looking at the appraisal as well. So being a realtor and having a background as a lender, I know the value of that appraisal. I know the value of that preliminary report, the contract, and I know the credit report. And when I represent a seller and an offer comes in, I can quickly look at that offer and determine if there's going to be an issue, if there's going to be a problem, where the issues are, where the problems are, and what we can do to correct the situation. I can do that. And then I can make the seller aware of things, because a lot of times some offers come in, they're just too good to be true, and you look a little page two and it is too good to be true. So anyway, my background is as a lender. It is as a broker. I've been a broker more than 30 years now, and I went straight to the broker's license. I never was an agent anywhere. I've only worked as a broker with Buyers Realty. So anyway, I'd be glad to help you. And the thing that we do have as strength is we understand the contracts. We understand the process, not only from the point of a realtor. Oh, by the way, at one time at the bank, I had to do my own appraisals. So we actually did our own appraisals because the market was tight. We couldn't get appraisals out there. So I've got a background in all of these aspects to do with the real estate transaction. I'll be glad to help you. I'm Doug Jones at Buyers Realty.